So our intrepid duo are heading towards the town. Okay. Let's do this. Let's move you to the village.
And actually, as you're moving us, I have a question for Veslar.
Yes.
Could you please describe your demeanor to me right now?
Pensive. Nervous.
Okay.
He's not comfortable entering town with a social agenda. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, he's doing it because he was ordered to.
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, as you make your way to the small hamlet, you count no more than 7 or 8 buildings. The slight drizzle and overcast weather make it duller than normal and darker for this hour of an early evening. The bleating of sheep can be heard, and the aroma of farm animals is in the air, mingled with the smell of fresh baked goods. As you enter the town at the northernmost end of the village, you can see a rundown and small chapel. So the hopes that someone here may possibly be able to help Erasmus is at least alive. There's a ransacked sign, like right as where you guys are right now, where the red circle represents our party, that says Hather Sage.
Hather Sage. And which building is the chapel that we notice? Sorry, that one.
That one. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like late afternoon, but it's so overcast, so everything is a lot darker than it normally would be.
All right. So, I'm assuming
You guys are
Veslar sees the church.
Yep.
Shall we start there?
Let's stick to the road.
Okay.
All right, so you head up. You're heading up the main road past various different hovels and stuff like that.
Right.
Herds of sheep, cattle. Once you get here, the building to your right, from the outside, looks like a simple country tavern. Doesn't look much. There are 2 rails of where you could tie horses to the outside, but no visible stable. It's a single-story building, so unless there are rooms in the basement, it doesn't look overly accommodating for an overnight traveler. You can see that some of the recent repairs have been made to the wooden slats on the roof. And it is called the Sage and Squirrel.
I point at the sign and say to Piper, I wonder if they serve squirrel there. I don't even smile, I just say that. And
Delicious.
Half shrug. You know?
Okay.
Okay,
You continuing down the road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You kind of come to like where the intersection is here. There's like a little raised dais, like a mini stage. But nothing set up there. It's like just like an empty flat level area that's just raised off the ground about 7 feet, with a flight of stairs leading up. The building to your left appears to be some kind of blacksmith stroke store. If this hamlet has any kind of store, this is it. As you make your way down to the chapel.
Do we see anybody on the road?
No.
Just empty. All right.
Nobody. There's not a single person. The only sign of life are the cows, the crows, and the sheep.
So as we're walking, I want to say, Ves, do you want me to talk, or would you like to try and find the priest?
We'll see what it comes down, but you can start. You can be the first to speak if necessary.
All right. So you approach the chapel.
Kind of bang on the door here.
Okay, the door is undone by a fairly young girl wearing kind of a greenish tabard. Looks like some kind of priestly initiative. Do either of you have religion knowledge? No. Okay. The girl kind of...
How old is she, approximately?
18.
Okay.
19. Probably around... she's similar
Not
age
a
to
child.
Arya. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She's like, hello, welcome to the Chapel of Ashara. Can we help you?
Yes. We are in desperate need of a priest.
Oh, well, I'm just a lowly initiate, I'm afraid, but Father Casper, I'm sure, would be willing to help. Come in, please, please.
I'll just step immediately in.
Okay, you kind of step inside the large church. Let's move you to Hathersage Church. And we will stick you here. And we will stick Veslar here. And the flowing black-haired girl right here. Okay, as soon as she walks in, she starts yelling, "Father Casper! Father Casper!" The door to the right opens, and a bald-haired, fairly kind of middle-aged fellow, he's probably in his mid-40s, steps out holding like a large staff. "What is it?"
I'm making my way, like, somewhat hastily towards him already.
We have visitors. They said they're in need of a priest. Oh, have you come to confess your sins? HPM 60, thanks for the follow.
So I'm just going to stride right up to him and say, "Well met, your holiness," and kind of give him like a nod of, suiting his position.
Okay.
And I would say, we have urgent matters that need attending, and perhaps we may speak in and I'm going to kind of look at the girl in private.
Oh, please step into our well, come through this door. And he kind of like opens the door and beckons you in.
So, just from my experience, do people, when we normally tell them what we do we get met with a positive or a negative reaction?
It very much depends on the circumstances. I mean, like a lot of priests, if they're not of the appropriate religions, are very much can be very anti what you do, but then others can embrace it. So it really would depend on what doctrines Ashar is all about.
Okay, and if I said the words green hag, there would be no confusion as to what I was referring to, yes?
Depends if he knows what a green hag is.
Okay.
But, yeah. Alright, so he
okay.
kind of steps into the room. He kind of moves over sideways to the table. And almost as an afterthought, it's like, apple?
Now, would it be appropriate for me to address him as father?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so I'm just going to go up to him again and say, "Father."
Call me Father Casper. Casper Torrenthal. And he kind of holds his hand out almost like he expects you to kiss it. Like
I'm going to grab his hand and like firmly shake it. Like,
okay,
nice,
he's like,
Oh. Father Casper, I must be completely frank with you, as we do not have time, and I'm sorry if this is shocking and or uncomfortable, but if you just can be as brief and straightforward with me, we will be done and out of your hair as soon as possible.
Oh, well, yes.
Or what little hair you have.
What can I do for you?
Are you familiar with a green hag?
I'm afraid not. Is this some kind of tavern or inn?
It's a magical being, a witch of sorts.
No. We here at the Church of Ashara, we shy away from vile, unpleasant creatures of a magical nature. We believe in promoting.
Yes, Father Casper, that is wonderful. As I said, we are making haste. Our comrade of ours has been poisoned and is in dire peril. We seek somebody who may be able to eradicate this poison from him before he perishes.
Ah, yes. I believe we can be of some assistance. Is he with you? Is he close?
He's just outside the city.
Yolinda, come here. At which point, 20 seconds later, the girl sticks her head in. He said, "This is the perfect opportunity for you. Go with these people. They're going to take you to a friend of theirs that has been poisoned by something. Lend aid, or at the very least, come back and tell me what your findings are. Run along, girl."
Excuse me.
Oh, yes.
I'm
we haven't been introduced.
My name is Veslar.
Caspar Torrenthal.
I just hand him the apple that I was eating.
Okay, he like looks at the half-eaten apple. He's like, drops it on the floor. As soon as he does so, the girl like runs straight to it and grabs it up and like puts it in her in the pocket in her apron.
She is but a child. I would much rather.
She is an initiate of the Church of Ashara. She has healing ability. She understands what her duties are.
Sorry. I think this is a little bit more dire and above her capability. I would much rather if you joined us.
Oh, tut. Don't judge this poor child just because she is young. She is very equipped and very adept. She has a far better bedside manner and healing ability than I do. It is her gift.
It is not a bedside manner we seek.
But you seek healing nonetheless.
And that is something within your capability, is it not?
It is within, yes. But as I just mentioned, she is more adept at the healing arts than I am.
Veslar, I think we should go.
Surgicilla, thanks for the follow. She's like, I'll get my things.
If she's better at healing, she's a better chance. We need to get back to Erasmus.
Okay, she disappears through the side room over the door on the opposite side.
I'm going to take another apple. And just exit.
Alrighty. Okay, he kind of walks and steps here to the altar and just waits as the his initiate comes out carrying what looks like kind of like a backpack full of stuff. As she kind of gets to him, she kind of curtsies and then hastily follows you guys out the door.
Follow.
So I'm going to be like briskly marching.
Okay.
I'm worried about Erasmus, and I want to make.
You guys basically are hauling ass back to the camp, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so she's following you. She's like, as you're walking, she's like, so, what exactly happened? In order to expedite things, tell me, as quickly as possible, what ails him? What happened? Was he bitten by a venomous snake? A spider? A plant?
She was attacked by a green hag. An evil witch.
Oh, a witch.
And given a poison that has weakened, has basically sapped him of his strength.
Did he drink this poison? Did she inflict him of it with a wound? How did she deliver this venom?
It was in combat. I didn't quite see. It just scratch. If Viper said so, then that's what it was. Ah,
right. So, okay, this is important information. Yes. Okay.
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 19, sir.
Child like me. Okay.
All right. So you arrive back at the camp. Okay. Immediately, she glances around and sees Erasmus slumped. So she runs over to him. Reaching inside of her bag, she pulls out several different little poultices and herbal remedies and stuff like that. And you notice Arya is looking at her a little bit sideways. And she's like, "Now, where's the affection? Where's the wound?" And he's like, okay, she pulls his collar back and she's like, "Ooh, this is clearly infected. We're going to have to open the wound again." She says, in order to alleviate some of the poison. And she kind of pulls a long needle out from her backpack. She says, "Now this is probably going to smart just a little bit." As she kind of pokes a couple of holes in the claw marks.
Veslar is going to be holding Erasmus down from behind, just so he doesn't squirm or move too much.
He pretty much is
okay.
He's used to a lot of pain.
Yeah, well, still.
At that point, she gets a poultice of herbs and packs it on his shoulder and does that. And she says, "I think we're going to need more help than this. Asha, please imbue me with the ability to heal this poor soul. As she lays her hands upon him, and attempts to basically cure him magically. She succeeds in curing the 2 prick marks that she made. But however, much like what Arya did, he doesn't seem any better. The wounds are healed, but he himself is still suffering from some kind of strange sickness or malady. I fear that this healing is beyond me and probably beyond Father Caspar.
Is there anybody in town you would recommend?
Not in this town. All the healing is administered by us. However, Father Caspar at least may know somebody else that could possibly help. We should make our way back to him at once. That's if he's interested.
Oh my god.
Veslar, why don't you and Arya get Erasmus on the cart and bring him in? I'll take her back on Gypsy.
Okay, Erasmus says, no. Leave me here.
There's nobody in town.
He said, have you investigated the town?
No, but the streets are bare and empty.
Bare and empty streets usually means signs of something to be concerned about. If there is any corruption here in my weakened state, I would be prime victim for such unpleasant creatures. I feel I'm safer here until we have a course of action. Arya, you stay with me. You go with the girl. Find out what you can. I'll be fine. With that, he hurls basically what looks like lung butter and all kinds of green, thick, almost like thick green pea soup all over himself.
He hurls it?
Yep, it's
like
yeah, total heave.
Like that?
Yep.
Check it?
Like, and it goes everywhere.
Okay. I'm gonna turn to the girl and say, is there anything noteworthy in your town?
Not really, I'm afraid.
Have you noticed anything in the past few days? Trouble of any sorts or varieties or odd things?
No, not really. Make a, if you would, sense
motive? Yeah.
Yes.
Are we on our way back right now?
Yeah, you guys are walking back at this point.
Oh, my beautiful sense motive.
Can I do that as well, a sense motive? Because obviously I'm listening.
Yeah, if you're both watching.
Oh, that actually wasn't too bad considering I have a -1.
Okay, Veslar, you get the distinct impression that she is not 100% forthcoming. You can just kind of, when you ask the question, she was noticeably awkward.
Okay. And Piper's?
Piper probably didn't notice at the time.
I'm gonna grab the girl by the cloak or the shirt or whatever she's wearing around her neck.
Okay.
And just kind of hoist her, but not really, like forcibly say,
like,
tell me everything that's going on.
Well, there's nothing to tell. I mean, not really.
The not really more. What's not
you
really?
You should speak to Father Caspar.
I'm speaking to you.
I don't know anything. I'm just speak to him. Trust me.
I'm setting her down.
Okay, she kind of is looking very kind of intimidated at this point as she hustles ahead of you several feet. As you head back to the town of Hathersage.
Bald-headed bastard.
Don't scare her, Vessel.
I'm sorry, but I've had enough of this.
We'll get it. We'll get the information.
Well, it's now late evening as you arrive back at the chapel. Let's put you back in there. Alright, she very quickly hustles through the door and gets up to him and stands next to him, almost using him as some kind of a shield. Well, girl, what did you find? He appears to be suffering from some strange malady, Father Caspar. Something that I know little about, I'm afraid. Oh, really? Interesting. Well, girl, you did your best. Now, off to your doctrines. There's a good girl. Make sure you say your penances. She kind of curtsies and heads through this door. Oh, I'm awfully sorry we couldn't help your friend.
We're hoping you may have a recommendation of somewhere else we might go to.
Well, not close, I'm afraid. Of course, I could have the girl take him somewhere in the morning.
He may not be here in the morning.
Well, I suppose I could have the girl take him somewhere this evening then. But, you know, it won't be quick.
What? Please tell what you know and what you're willing to offer.
What I'm willing to offer any assistance I can as to what I know. I don't understand what you're asking.
Well, details for starters.
Of the church?
Where would you take him? To who? How far away?
Oh, honestly, I don't know. I suppose westward.
You suppose westward?
Well, westward back to the closest church of Pelor, yes. Being the closest church that may have a priest of a high enough connection with his god to assist in this situation.
Are the roads safe? Because that would be ideal.
To some degree. You came from that direction. I mean, you can deduce where he's talking about is about 150 miles away. And it is like you've been to this city a couple of times, to the Church of Pelor with Erasmus.
Okay. Right.
And that seems to be like where he's suggesting.
I look at Piper and I say that sounds like the best chance we have.
So, may I ask a question?
It depends on the question.
The garb that you wear, is this coincidental, or are you in fact one of those that seeks out and punishes the corrupt and the unjustworthy?
Have any of those lying around?
I honestly don't know, but I have some suspicions.
There's something.
I worship a god that promotes agriculture, and these such things are beyond my normal doctrines. However, I have noticed some things that I do not feel are entirely natural occurring here in my town.
Explain.
If, hypothetically, if you knew of a person here in the town that had an eye on the back of their head and a forked tongue, would this be something that you would consider unnatural or possibly devilish or demonic in nature?
I would have to investigate to make sure. I would, of course, you've gotten my suspicions.
Then I suggest you investigate the town.
Is that why the streets are empty?
The streets are empty mostly because this town has little to offer after dark. Everybody is either at home or at the tavern.
And where should we investigate?
Well, I suppose if you want to find out anything and where most people would be, I would start at the tavern.
How about a name?
You seem to know who you're speaking of. Why would you hold this from us?
Unfortunately, I have a certain obligation to my congregation. I cannot, without proof, denounce one of them as being corrupt. However, I can at least give you enough information to discover it by yourself.
Fair.
Seems a little ridiculous that you would ask for help in investigation and then proceed to waste our time.
I have no indication of wasting your time. I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I hope I'm mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I've not in fact seen this myself, you understand. I only go from well, gossip and hearsay. However, this gossip and hearsay is
okay.
particular.
Send your little one to collect Erasmus. He needs to be taken to the church. Piper and I will investigate the town. Because apparently there needs to be some investigating.
Well, I hope my suspicions are completely unfounded, of course, but
So the only info you can give us is it's potentially somebody from your convocation.
it definitely is somebody.
Excellent.
But you have to understand, these are suspicious times. People here, they're very, very simple folk. They may have seen one thing, interpreted as something else. I would hate to cast suspicions on a person that is not, in fact, guilty.
Seeing someone with a forked tongue, you know.
Well, as I said, I've not seen it. I'm only relaying to you what somebody confessed to me. But as a confession, I cannot divulge that information to you. It would be wrong of me to do so.
Has there been any unusual deaths in town? Or anything that would denote danger?
Only but a week ago, a young boy was, well, killed in the streets. No one knows how, no one knows why. But he was strangled to death. But the marks around his neck did not look like any kind of rope I'd ever seen.
I look at Piper. I say, looks like a case.
We have to investigate, but Erasmus is priority one.
Yeah, we need to get him to the Church of Peeler.
Well, I will send Yelinda to escort him to the church. She will make sure he's safe, and even though she is not able to heal this malady, she is a gifted healer, and I'm sure is probably more suited than the rest of us at keeping him stable for at least as long as possible.
Could you please also send her a message to my sister, Arya, to meet us here in town with my horse?
Oh, absolutely. Yelinda! Come here, child!
Is there anyone in this town who is capable of fighting or protecting? Do you have a militia?
Oh, no. This is a small, simple hamlet. We have no militia here. We take care of ourselves.
I would much rather someone go accompany Erasmus and her.
You could ask for volunteers at the local tavern, I suppose.
Well, tavern.
Should we check the tavern before we send him away?
Maybe one of the Whittaker boys could help.
I'd have to check them.
Well, of course, as you see fit.
Okay, let's go.
Maybe hold your girl until we return?
Oh, yes, by all means.
Okay.
It's late. I can't imagine it would be an ideal time to travel anyway. So let us investigate tonight and...
Well, by all means. Well, I'll have her leave at first light in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, if it's what you still wish.
Let's get out of here.
All right, so you guys wish to go where? To the tavern?
To the tavern.
Yeah,
All right, let's take you to the Sage and Squirrel. Okay, so once you get to inside the building, it's about as equally as bland as it was from the outside. There's a handful of stools, a couple of circular tables. Some similar makeshift repairs have been made to some damaged flooring in the far right corner. However, it does have a warm lit fire, and you've discovered the source of the fresh, delicious baked goods smell. There are only 4 patrons in the tavern, and a single barman who looks in your direction as you push open the doors. as soon as you guys walk in, there was some light conversation going on. But the second Veslar walks through the door behind Piper, it's like instant quiet.
I'm gonna turn to Piper and say, I really wish Arya was here for this. Then talk to people.
Right, you notice several different, some of the patrons, they all kind of turn to look at you. Almost uncomfortably, the barman says, welcome to the Sage and Squirrel. Don't have much variety to offer. Few barrels of ale, the odd bottle of wine and mead. I have pie, stew, and bread and cheese, and a warm fire. If you need a bed, there's the common room over there, and he points to the door to his far right. That being said, the mutton stew is hearty, the beef and kidney pie is fresh, and so is the bread. So make yourself at home, strangers. Hybrid Hog, thanks for the follow.
So I'm going to kind of like, out of the corner of my mouth, be like, who should we talk to first?
Bob, man guy, thank you for the follow.
I would much rather not talk to anybody, but I guess we have to.
Okay, the blacksmith kind of stands up. This guy over here, he's kind of like sooty, wearing like a blacksmith's apron. He says, well, it's late. I best be turning in. Oh, see you again this time tomorrow? Aye. He kind of walks towards you.
Get him to smile or something so you see your teeth. Or his tongue.
I'm gonna kind of nod, like, kind of in front of him, like, as if I'm starting to walk, and I got in your way.
Okay, he's
and
like,
I'm going to...
Oh, excuse me, ma'am.
Okay, so he said that, excuse me, ma'am.
Uh-huh. Make a spot check.
What?
Exumox, thank you for subscribing. Spam your rollies.
There we go.
Sub hype.
Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate it, dude. All right. You kind of, as he says it, you're like, it's really hard to tell. You don't think so, but
All right, so I'll just kind of, in the same motion, just kind of step aside and give Veslar like a...
All right. He kind of opens the door, turns, and just like nods at everybody, and they all raise a hand, like, and he steps out of the door. Huh. Must be busy. Not normal for him to leave quite so early. Aye. Well, he worked hard on those horseshoes all day. Probably a little bit tired, that's all.
Piper, let's go to the bar. Let's go. Okay. I'm gonna sit down.
Okay. This guy kind of turns, picks up his pint, and sits there.
I'll have the mead, please.
Oh, absolutely, sir. Okay, he turns to this barrel. Pulls you a hearty glass of mead. There you go. What about for you, ma'am?
I say.
All right. Are you hungry?
What do you have to offer?
Well, we have mutton stew roasting over the fire. I've got some fresh beef and kidney stew, and some fresh baked bread and an offering of cheese.
I'll have a mutton stew, please.
All right. He basically throws a bowl on the table, like a bong, ding, 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 rolls in front of you. Help yourself. And he points over at the fireplace where you can see this big cauldron-like pot roasting quietly over the open fireplace.
How much will that be?
Oh, 2 meads. And are you getting anything to eat, ma'am?
Same.
All right, that's 8 copper, please.
I'll pass it over.
Thank you
I'm
very
gonna
much.
pass.
With an extra copper, yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna pass you my bowl, Veslar, as you get up, and I'm just gonna sit in your seat.
Okay.
Oh.
You've been sent to get the food, boy.
As
Oh, okay. Yeah. I return to my seat and just, kind of grunt. Just grunt.
so when the blacksmith left, who was the person who said, "Well, it's kind of early for him to be leaving"?
The guy directly to your left, this guy right here.
Perfect. Just gonna kind of stare at him.
I mean, it's like you can watch him feeling your eyes burning in his neck as he's kind of like trying so hard not to look.
That he looks okay. I'm gonna say, "Good day." Good day.
Oh,
No.
Hello.
Unwell?
It looks like he's trying to get to the bottom of his beer as quickly as he possibly can.
Okay, so then I'll say, "Thirsty?"
Oh, gotta get home.
Just like the blacksmith.
Well, got a lot of work in the fields to do tomorrow. Dad'll be pretty pissed if we don't show up in time. And that right? As he kind of says that, he looks at the girl, who says, "He'll be pissed no matter what we do."
Ah, well then you can stay and chat.
Red Rosin, Nerdy Gamer NP, and Summers 12. Thanks for the follow.
So yeah, when the girl said that, I kind of looked at him and said, "Oh, well then perhaps you can stay for a chat."
I suppose so. As she, like, almost smugly is like, "Oh, look, my glass is empty."
I'll just nod to the barman.
He's like, all right, he basically pours a glass of wine and hands it to you.
Okay, so I'm gonna say, I'm sure you know this, but we are new to town. Just passing through, I assure you. We've
kind
heard
of
some.
looking at you holding the glass of wine like,
Is he looking? Where is he looking?
oh, the girl, she's looking at you like that's the drink that the barman just gave you to give to her, so she's like,
Oh, I'm talking to the girl, not the guy?
the girl was the one that said that, yeah. She was the one that piped up and said that Dad will be pissed no matter what we do.
Right. Well, and then I turned to the boy and said, "Well, then you can stay for a chat."
Oh, okay, and the girl was the one that abruptly
My drink is
answered.
empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I'm not bringing it to her. She can come get it if she wants. I'm talking right now.
Well, after a few seconds of realizing that that's not going to happen, she does kind of slide her chair out and walk up, and she walks over to you and kind of curtsies. And
Okay, so
reaches for her glass.
yep.
Okay, she takes
Happily
it.
kind of.
Oh, thank you.
We've heard talk of strange folk about.
You're probably the strangest folk we've seen. Oh, my name's Heidi Whittaker. That's my brother, Soren.
What'd you say? Last name?
Whittaker?
Whittaker. Aren't there supposed to be two Whittaker brothers?
Oh, yeah, but... Well, there's me, Heidi, there's Soren, and then there's Elra. He's our older brother. He's at home.
Ah. And what do you guys do?
Oh, during this, Veslar's getting up to investigate that hole, just so you guys know.
I saw that. Okay. Well, I help me ma. We bake the fresh bread, and well, Soren, he helps work in the fields at the farm. You know, dealing with crops and stuff. So does Elra. Right. Veslar. Okay, so you're looking at the floor. There's a huge big hole in the floor, like something smashed through here. It's probably about 3 foot wide and about 1 foot across. And somebody is carelessly, like, just nailed 2 boards over top of the hole just to stop anybody from stepping into it, or, you know. But I mean,
Okay.
this is no professional repair by any means.
And what can I see when I look in the hole? Like, because this is the ground floor, right?
Right.
So
looking down through the hole, I mean, it's pretty. It's dark. It's nighttime. Looking down there's no light through there, so you can't really see anything.
Okay. I'm gonna while Piper keeps talking, I'm gonna poke at the boards that are put down to see how many nails. You know,
they're
I'm
pretty,
really making it obvious that I'm.
Basically, they're held down by 2 nails on each side, so it's secure enough that they're not going to come up, but it's not like so
Got it.
heavy that someone was desperately trying to keep something out.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So I'll continue. I'll be like, how many people would you say live in this town?
Oh, a couple of dozen.
And you say there's no strange folk about.
Not that we've seen. Don't get
What
many
about-
strangers come this way, to be honest.
What about people that reside here? It's a small town, you must know.
Not really. Everyone's pretty much keeps themselves to themselves. I mean, we know everybody here in town. There's nobody we don't know.
Perhaps you could tell me a little bit more about the residents?
The Dark Chairs, thanks for the follow. The residents? Wolfgang, thanks for the follow.
Yeah, we came in, we saw, it looks like a store, perhaps a smithery.
Oh,
a
that's
church?
Dirk Malburn's place.
That's the blacksmith?
Oh, yeah.
And the store?
Well, that is the store. He's as close to a store as we got, see?
And who runs it?
Dirk and his wife Olivia.
Ah. And what about the church over there?
Oh, that's Father Casper and Yolanda. They're the priests or whatever.
And they're the only members of the church?
Well, we're all members, but they're the only priests.
Well, yeah. Nobody else?
Well, I mean, you got obviously Trenel, and she kind of points at the barmaid or the barman. He runs the tavern here. You got the church, the smithy. You got Dunwin Banner's farm. There's Rodling and Jarna Longmire. Brendan and Maggie McCarthy. Caleb and Sharon Holton. And then us, the Whitaker family. That's pretty much it. Everybody here pretty much has been here for a while. Small community. Keep ourselves to ourselves. Don't really travel much. But you know, we got sheep, we got cattle, we got corn. Traders come in every 4 or 5 months and deliver any of the other essentials that we need and drop off the beer and the mead.
Now, you said the town that the Church of Peelor's in, we've been there a few times.
Yes.
And what's the name of that town?
You are looking at... Sorry, one sec. Raylan. The town of Raylan.
Raylick?
Raylan.
Raylan. Does anybody frequent Raylan?
No one frequents anywhere around here. We pretty much all keep ourselves to ourselves, to be honest.
So
Woman.
I'm going to extract a gold coin from my pouch, look at it, like fiddle it with my hands over the hole,
Uh-huh.
and then I'm just going to have it
Accidentally
fall from
drop
my
it.
accidentally drop it.
Okay. Make a perception check for me.
Perception being
You would basically...
Appraisal?
no, not appraisal.
No. Do a perception check. So you're going to want to make a... basically, it's just going to be an intelligence check.
Oh, okay. So just a regular.
Yeah, with whatever your intelligence plus is.
I got nothing. I ain't that smart.
Okay. You don't even really hear it drop. Hard to tell whether it went
Okay.
far or... It either went a long way or it went hardly anywhere.
Okay, but I'm going to stoop down and start prying up the board. You know, cursing to myself. Oh, god damn it.
Okay. As you do so, the innkeeper's like, "Oi, hey, what are you doing?"
I dropped a coin down here. Pretty valuable.
Hold on. He reaches under the bar and pulls out a claw hammer and throws it across the floor to you as it glides to you. That'll make life easier, but you be sure to hammer that back down when you're done. I don't want nobody sticking their foot in there and hurting themselves.
Thank you. I'm take it and start prying it up proper.
Alrighty, so you pry the boards up.
I'm gonna look in, see what I
Okay.
can see.
It goes down maybe about 3 foot. Pretty much, it just seems to be like the raised floor beneath. There doesn't appear to be any kind of like basement or...
There is a shiny gold coin down there, though.
There is one gold coin, yeah. See
So
a
I'm
rat run by with a gold coin in its mouth. It goes, ah, and keeps running.
I'm taking my hat off and I'm putting my head down so I can try to see everything, see what's underneath the inn.
All right. You kind of glance to the left and right. You can't see squat. It's pitch black under there.
Okay.
It's a very musty, kind of damp smell, but that's about it.
All right. Can I see my coin? Because it's laying.
You can see your coin just because the light is shining down through the hole and it's right there. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna take it and.
Right. Basically, like when you pick the coin up, it comes out. It's got a little bit of dirt on it, so it's obviously like a dirt foundation under there.
Got it. Okay. All right. Can I put the boards back in place?
Okay. The innkeeper's watching you as he polishes his mug, like to make sure that you actually bother to hammer them back in place. So.
I'm gonna hammer them back in place. And then return when I'm done to the corner. I'm gonna hand the claw thing back.
Thank you. He puts it back underneath the bar.
What happened over there?
Oh.
I'm going to stop and just listen.
Oh, on the floor.
Quite a nasty hole you got there.
Yeah, well, you know, things happen. Accidents.
Yeah. Pretty slipshod job, too, to try to patch it. What happened?
Well, I do apologize, but there are not many carpenters here in town.
Well, the blacksmith that left, I imagine he's more capable than what's been done.
That's who did it.
He did it?
Uh-huh. He's a blacksmith, not a carpenter.
No.
He made the nails himself, though.
No, not the patchwork.
Oh.
Who caused the hole?
Oh, that was me.
What happens?
Well, I used to store all the barrels over in the far corner. You notice I don't do that so much now. They're more behind the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at one point, I had like a little bit of a raised rack that I'd sat the barrels on. You know, it made it easier to get the mug underneath them and pour it.
Right.
Well, one of them slipped. Full barrel, hit the floor. Broke 2 or 3 of the slats. Had to patch it up.
Can I see if he has strange tongue as he's talking and explaining? Like, can I do a spot check?
You may make a spot check, yes.
Oh god, my checks are so bad. All my checks are so bad. I just can hit hard and that's it. Alright. So yeah, beautiful 16.
You're pretty sure he does not have a forked tongue.
Probably just hiding it. It's him, I tell you. Alright.
Bloody barman.
I'm gonna grab my mead that I haven't quite finished and just, return to Piper's side.
Alright.
So I can't remember where I was in my conversation. I'm gonna say, so no strange folk about, hey?
Not really.
Not really. You know,
At this point, this guy here, who's pretty much kept himself to himself the entire conversation, finishes his last... drops it. He says, well, Ed Gnome.
when he did the could you see inside his mouth?
Pretty clearly, yeah. I'll give you a spot check +3.
Nice. +3?
Uh-huh. Yeah, his mouth was like wide open, like... yeah, he doesn't have a forked tongue either.
Okay.
He kind of, as he walks between these two, gets to here. He's like, nods. He says, Heidi, Saren. They're like, light a cord. He turns, looks at the barman. See you tomorrow. All right. And he heads out the door.
So they never really listed anybody else that was involved with the church.
No.
I give Piper a look like this is getting us nowhere. And then I'm looking. So, what's the back of Heidi's head look like?
Oh, the back of Heidi's head. Basically,
looks like she has a
hair
bun,
is
right?
yeah, her hair is tied in a bun.
All right.
How intently is Heidi listening? I'm assuming pretty intently. There's nothing going on.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's kind of pretty much like listening to everything going on in here. So,
Is the bartender paying attention?
mm-hmm.
They're all paying attention. There's like nothing going on in this.
I mean,
shit
yeah,
hole.
you two are the most interesting thing to have happened to this town for a long time. So,
Okay, so I was saying it's a small town, and I'm just gonna kind of just casually throw it out there and be like, there's not a lot of people, and people talk. And just kind of like, oh, soup.
okay.
Just eat a little bit.
Right, they both just kind of like are sitting there. Heidi finishes her wine. Her brother Soren has finished his pint. He says, "We best be getting back now."
Heidi.
Yeah?
Give me a minute. That's an interesting. My friend over there has a sister, younger, and for the life of me, she's always kept her hair short, and she doesn't know how to put her hair in a bun. Can you show? Can I investigate?
Okay.
I'm just going for it.
What is your
whatever?
what is your charisma?
Pretty bad. My intimidate's pretty good though. Can I loom over her while I see what?
Well, I mean that
say?
depends. I didn't feel the conversation you just had was particularly intimidating.
All right, my charisma's at a 9.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Make a negotiation check then with a conversation like that.
I just like whatever. Let's just do this shit. All right, so it's just negotiate. It's not diplomacy, right?
Yeah, diplomacy. Yeah.
It's a diplomacy check. All right, so I wasn't being intimidating. Wait, just wait for it. Yeah, she's like, fuck off.
Okay.
Sawed off.
She's kind of looking at you a little bit strange. Is she kind of like almost nervously like is touching her hair? Oh, it's just a standard bun, really. You just twirl your hair up, stick a stick in the back of it, and it stays there by itself.
I'm gonna hold up my sword. A stick like this?
Okay, now she's looking a little bit strange at you. Anyway, begging your pardon, but we must be going home now. Right, isn't that right, Soren? Oh yeah. We gotta head back. I got a lot of work to do in the morning. Darby right pissed at us if we get back too late. They both kind of get up, and she's like turned and is backing her way around the edge of the table, facing Veslar because she doesn't trust him.
I just do this.
As they back
Get my hat
down,
up.
they basically back out of the door. The innkeeper says, "Well, suppose I'm closing early tonight."
We tend to do that. I apologize.
Do you want to stay here the night or not? So I've got 5 clean beds in the common room.
Look, I'm just gonna get to it. We're investigating the murder of the boy the week previous.
Murder? Oh, I don't think it was a murder.
So what do you think it was? Because the priest had a very specific story he told us.
Oh, did he?
Very much
What
so.
did he say?
That the boy was strangled from behind, and it was not by hands like these.
He told us that he tripped and broke his neck.
Which... Wait, what?
The priest. He told everybody
The
in the
bald one.
convocation that he told everybody that we should all say a prayer and that the blessing should be with his family. It was unfortunate, but the young boy had basically wandered, not paying attention, stepped in a rut, tripped, and broke his neck.
I'm gonna lean across the counter and say, and if we were to ask other people of this town, they'd give us the same answer as you.
I'd assume so.
So, Don't you think it's a little peculiar that we were told different?
Well, I don't know what you were told. Whenever it happened, the blacksmith's daughter found him, said, "Oh my God, everybody help, help, scream, 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 whatever." And they said, fetch the priest, and the priest was called for, and he come, and he said, everybody stand back, and investigated the body, and he said, looks like he broke his neck, and he picked him up, and took him back to the church to get him ready for a proper burial. And we had a funeral 2 days later, and put him in the ground.
And the blacksmith's daughter, where does the blacksmith live? In where he works, or?
Yeah, they live inside the smithy.
And what's her name?
Rena.
And how old is she?
Well, I think she's 7.
7.
Uh-huh.
Quite traumatic to witness at 7 years old.
I suppose so.
Is there anyone in this town who's recently come, like a newcomer, not us, but who lives here, but
Not really, not for a long time. You're the first visitors we've seen in probably nigh on 2 weeks.
And nothing strange happens.
Follow.
Has anything strange happened in the past decade, let's say?
Well, past decade, whew.
Any other deaths?
We've seen some strange folk come through in nigh on in 10 years for sure. Death-wise, well, old Mr. Whitaker, Whitaker Senior, he died, but that was 4 years ago. I think he died of a heart attack, I think they said. Other than that, the boy, 2 weeks back. Tragic that, really, to be honest. Still, I suppose it's to be expected if you don't keep the roads clean and neat and tidy.
Where was the boy buried? I would like to pay my respects.
Oh, out the back of the church.
Back of the church.
Where the graveyard is. Everyone's buried back there.
And what was his name?
The boy?
Yes.
Samuel.
Samuel. Thank you. How much for 2 beds?
A silver a night each. So 2 silver.
I'm going to hand over 2 silvers and then look at Piper and say, let's go for a night stroll. Nights, maybe this place will fill in again, with us being not here.
Well, it's already kind of like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, so.
Okay.
So you guys want to head out the tavern?
I'm heading out, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wrong map. Let me get to the right one. All right, so you guys head back out onto the streets of Hathersage. Okay, so it's pretty late by now. There's not really anybody wandering around or anything like that. I mean, everybody's either realistically, they're all at home. Other than the cows and the sheep, that is about it.
I'm going to turn to Piper and say, why would the priest tell us different?
I have 2 thoughts. 1, perhaps he told us the true story that he's been afraid to tell everybody else. Or 2, he's covering up.
Well, he was very secretive, and it would, point us in the right direction. He would think. I hate priests.
I worry that perhaps he was speaking about the girl. And if that's the case, I don't want her anywhere near Erasmus.
Oh, the girl who founded the blacksmith's daughter.
No, the initiative. The
initiate.
Yeah.
Why would?
Because the only 2
doesn't
people
make
they
sense.
listed of the order in the city is the girl and him. So either he's afraid of her, or he's lying.
I didn't get the impression that he was afraid of her. The way he shouted for her and how she came. I wouldn't be surprised if he was being cautious with the town in terms of the truth of how the boy died. I could see that. That was your first thought.
He's doing the grin. Look at him.
He's always doing the grin.
It's like the T-shirt says: "When the DM is grinning, you're already fucked."
Honestly, I wouldn't mind going to the graveyard and digging up the corpse to see for myself the wounds.
Do you think that right?
If the priest said that.
I'll tell you this much: you've seen Erasmus do it before.
Okay.
Veslar probably hasn't done it yet, but he's seen Erasmus dig up corpses and examine them, and so have you.
We're getting two different stories. We could investigate the neck to see what it actually was, because if he just fell and broke his neck, that's one thing. But if he was strangled, then clearly the priest, then we'll know some more. We'd have more information to go off of.
Whatever you see fit.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, so you guys want to go to the back of the church? Arbicast, thanks for the follow. All right, so you head back over here to the little graveyard area. There's but probably 30 gravestones. It is not hard to figure out which one the most recent one is, even though they're not clearly marked. They're just crosses.
Yeah.
But one of them still has fresh dirt. Considering that if they're telling the truth, it was years prior since anybody else died, the fresh dirt probably belongs to the boy.
And there's no shovel or anything around, right?
No. You have shovels, but they're back on the...
yeah, they're back on the cart.
Back on the cart. We're going to take a very short break.